So, you've had the chance to be able to interact with carbon dioxide yourself. Let me show you something even cooler. So, mad scientists, here's what we're gonna do. I have dry ice. This is actually frozen carbon dioxide. So, take a big deep breath in. That has nothing to do with it. But if you take a big deep breath out, that has everything to do with it. This is the same stuff that we breathe out frozen. So, let's do a little bit of a demonstration. So here I have a beaker. And you'll notice that I'm wearing a glove. That's because dry ice is so cold that it can burn you. So, gotta make sure to wear the proper equipment. I'm gonna add some hot water. Then I'm gonna break off a small piece and drop it in. Check that out. Whoa. So, usually we can't see carbon dioxide. Like when you breathe out, you can't see it. But when mixed with water vapor, it creates a foggy effect. Check this out. So I've lit a candle here. I'm going to fill a balloon with some dry ice or some carbon dioxide. Then we're going to use it to put out this candle. Just like that. Check that out. Pretty cool, huh? So that was a really cool demo. But now let's talk a little bit more about the role of CO2 in our everyday lives. So, plants will use CO2 in a process that we like to call photosynthesis. Photosynthesis is the process plants use in order to get energy, like when we eat food to get our energy. Most plants don't eat like we do. Plants will use the water, energy from the sun, and carbon dioxide in order to make their very own food. Inside the plant cells, water and CO2 are made into glucose, which is a type of sugar. Then the plant is able to live off of this sugar. Yes, the same kind of sugar in ice cream and cake and all the fun foods that we like to eat. Photosynthesis is important because that's how all plants grow. Without these plants, we wouldn't be alive either. This is because the plants we eat, or other animals eat, are one of the ways that we get nutrients. And plants are integral to giving off oxygen, which help us breathe. Carbon dioxide is very important for all life on Earth. Without it, there are no plants, no animals, and no people. So why have you heard some people say that carbon dioxide is a bad thing? Well, if you've heard that CO2 is bad, you've probably heard about a phenomenon called climate change or global warming. This is because carbon dioxide is a greenhouse gas, meaning that they trap heat energy inside of our atmosphere and Earth. That can cause changes to the weather, the climate, and to our Earth itself. This is what people are talking about when they say that climate change or global warming is bad. These gases can warm the Earth because there's too much of them. So how did we get too much CO2 in the air? Well, the amount of CO2 in the air has risen because we burn gas when we drive our cars and make electricity, among other things. So what role does CO2 play on our everyday lives, besides being the thing that we breathe out and the thing that helps plants stay alive? So we've already talked about how CO2 is made when we breathe and how plants use it for energy. But what are some other ways that we use it in our everyday lives? Well, CO2 is used in our fire extinguishers, in our air conditioning, in forming plastics, rubbers, in greenhouses, and even in sodas. Yes, like the ones me and you drink. The bubbles in soda are actually carbon dioxide, and that's what gives our fizzy drinks that fizzy feeling. How interesting. Another thing we see CO2 in is dry ice, like the thing I just showed you. Carbon dioxide is usually a gas. It's invisible in little molecules and in the air all around us. But all things can change states if they're at the right temperature. This means that if things get cold enough, they can become solid, and they get hot enough, they become a liquid. And the hotter they get, the more likely it is that they become gases. So if you make carbon dioxide cold enough, it becomes solid, like we showed right here with dry ice. But now, let's go ahead and do a really cool second demo with the rest of the dry ice that we have. Pretty cool. All right, so let's pull out our dry ice again. And here we go. So we've talked about how steam, or the fog, that comes from this reaction is pretty dense, which is why we can pour it. But it's dense enough that I can also put out candles. So I'm gonna show you something really cool. Alrighty, So mad scientists, now that I have all of my candles lit, and now I'm gonna put out all of our candles with our dry ice. Check it out. Whoop. Just like that. Using just the fog that comes from our dry ice and hot water reaction, we were able to successfully put out all of our candles without ever having to blow them out. Pretty cool, huh? So mad scientists, today we've learned tons of things about carbon dioxide. We learned that it's made up of 1 oxygen atom and 2 carbon atoms. We learned that it is the stuff that we breathe out, because when we breathe in oxygen, we let out carbon dioxide. We learned that we can use it in a ton of fun experiments, and that it's created in reactions such as those with baking soda and vinegar. And we also learned that carbon dioxide is a big part of our everyday life. It's food for plants. We can use it in stuff like dry ice for cool activities, and it is integral to all life on Earth. So mad scientists, I had a lot of fun here today in the lab, and I hope you did too. Hope to see you back in the lab very soon, and until then, stay curious.